And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my esteemed co-hosts. Made a little more fancy this month. Everybody's favorite game with the win, the TheGimpyGamer. How's it going, Nate?
It's another glorious day. Still struggling over this damn chest cold my kids gave me a couple weeks ago.
Really?
It's lingering. It just will not go. It's one
Not
of those.
gonna lie, huh?
No, it just settled right in the chest, and it's like I'm stuck. It's just driving me nuts because the whole family got it. I got it, got sick with it, and then the wife came down with it, and then all the kids, and everyone's still coughing and hacking, and it's just nasty.
Yeah, definitely sucks.
Yeah.
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Cat Sharp from the big board. How's it going, Cat?
Doing great. Super
I
happy.
know you're doing great. Look behind you. You have that awesome room. And unlike Gimpy and me, that's not a fake backdrop.
That's not a fake background. It's the real deal, bitches. You know what you can do to fix your chesting? More push-ups. That'll help build your chest up.
Wow. And you guys have missed this for the whole last, couple weeks. We were trying to get a show going. We reschedule. So I saw some people were saying, we're really going to have a show tonight. Yeah, we are. So sorry about the mix-ups and the scheduling, but it's been a little nutty with everything going on. As Tim says, finally having this show. Yes, we are. And so it's good to see everybody in the chat getting in their hellos.
Charles. Oh, and we've got some Belgians.
Belgium, man. It's always great to have that international reach. Maryland.
Maryland.
Canada's new gigs, that's right. Hey, Brian. Stupid Joe. And Grindard Rich. Greetings from Orlando. So it's always great to have you guys along. And of course, Nick in there, he was the first one that got in earlier tonight. He was looking to see if anybody was here. He said hello, and I responded, I'm sorry we're not here right now, but if you leave your name and number, we'll call you back. So, and then he, of course, ordered the burger and fries. So that'll be right out to you.
Whip.
So aside from, the past few weeks, last month actually, since we had a show, you finally moved into your new war room and you got everything set up. And I was just telling you backstage, I've talked to you about it before, that you made my heart stop a little when I saw that. You had that gorgeous view. You had those tables out there and you had the doors open. I was like, oh shit, I was going to fly away.
Well, it's going to be, it'll be exciting when I find a game that I don't really like. There'll be no Plex on the table. The windows will be open. And if there's no breeze, I'll get a fan and we'll just blow it out the door. And that will be your sign not to buy.
Well, that's what you do with, if you play a modern game, you have the plexi down and everything until you get to the nuclear weapons phase. Once the nuclear weapons release is okay and you want to see if it's going to happen or not, you just let the fates decide at that point. If the map gets blown up, oh, there you go, nuclear Armageddon.
I could even light the mats on fire because they're metal tables, so it should all work out pretty right. I should test that.
Can you actually use plexiglass? I've got it, but I haven't been able to use it in years because the lighting just reflects off of it. It's almost impossible to find anything. The reflection doesn't bother me.
We're talking about here.
I really don't give a rat's ass whether you can see or not. I'm just playing the game.
Oh, as long as you can see, that's all that matters, right?
That's all I can see. Oh, what's that like? Oh, it's a UFO. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, Ed's saying that you're going to make Wayne jealous with the bad reviews.
Well, all right.
That's true. The OST counters are a little heavier. They're nice, beefy counters. So.
Yeah, I just played OST the other day.
Yeah, and a Mountain Mac too. So
it's like Burning Banners. Their counters are what, inch, at least an inch in size, and they're very, very, very thick. They're damn near as thick as the mounted board.
Are they your inches or regular inches?
But regular inches.
Special inches, like centimeters.
Special inches.
Millimeters.
Gimpy has special inches, not interests. Inches.
Hey, as long as it makes me happy, that's all that matters.
And you guys have missed out on this clown, horse fuckery for the past month, haven't you guys?
Yeah, well, especially we don't really have topics tonight,
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna let the audience pick some topics, but we will be talking about some things like I did get a new game to the table recently,
Ooh.
and this one is that's that one from Legion. It's only like $16, and I had gotten it, and I just never got around to it. And I was
That's a
like,
cool small format game, right?
yeah, yeah, and I really dig the small format of it because I think there's like 60 or 70 counters, and it's just like an 11 by 17-inch map that has, it's just beautifully done by Legion because their stuff is really, really good. It always is quality of their stuff. And I think it's like 7 pages of rules. I mean, you can knock it out really easy. But the play is there. There's actually decent gameplay there. Now it's not deep. Let's be real. It's not going to be a super deep game, but it's fantastic for something there.
Because you had that Legion game that was definitely
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that was pretty good.
yeah, and it's going to be this is the type of game you can knock out in probably about 90 minutes or less. So it's very much the type of game that, if you're in the mood for a game, it's a work night, and you're like, I want to play a game, but I want to set something up, and it's going to take an hour to set up, and you can throw this down and be playing in 10 minutes. It's real simple. So I enjoyed it. I played a couple times and really dug it. First time I was just kind of screwing around with it, just to get the feel for it and seeing, okay, what do I need to do? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Then the second time I was like, okay, now I'm going to try to go, actually what I should be doing, because you have two objectives. You have Baliki Luki, and then you have Novoskolny, I think it is the name of the town. I could be mispronouncing it.
Yep.
Novoskolniki. And you have to get both. The points are higher for the Germans to protect them than they are for the Soviets to take them. You only get like a point or 2 points. Like one for Baliki Luki and one for Novoskolniki. The rest of them are all single points, and then you get points for destroying German units. The Germans get like 9 points for protecting Baliki, and then they get 3 points for Novoskolniki. So it's like there's 12 points right there. So from a defensive standpoint, the Germans really want to just set up as much defense as they can.
Right.
And the interesting thing is you don't start off with a lot of units. They just come in each turn. So they're pouring in, and you got to set them up in the right way to where that the Soviets, if they're going to play it smart, which I didn't do the first time. Second time first time I played it, I was like, I should have surrounded Baliki Luki and just cut it off and cut their thing in half. But it's still a slog to get through and take everything out of there, because even when you surround it, you have all the units there. You still have to get through the shifts that you get. You get 2 shifts for the fortifications in the city, and then 1 for the city itself. So you're sitting there at 5-1. You're rolling 2-1 every turn. So
right. Sounds like it's game.
Yeah, it's still tough, And then the Zocs also are key, because you can move into a Zoc and E-Zoc, but you can't move out of one. So you have to, from a defensive standpoint, you want to set up that staggered line where they move in and they can't move out. Whereas you, as the attacker, you need to start pressing as far as you can to get in there. So you set up that stepping stone type of thing where my unit is in your E-Zoc, but I get another unit, I can pass through the negated E-Zoc, so I can continue on. So you kind of like leapfrog each other.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of neat in
that
regard.
And there's no armor in that battle either. I think it's only 3 units. There might be a few scout units or something like that.
Yeah, there's some ski troops. There's some mechanized. I think there might be a couple. I have to look. There might be a couple of army units.
Like recon units or something like that. I don't think it's. I think that's one of the interesting things about the battle is that there's no. It's not a big.
There's at least one. Oh, there's a couple of tanks for the Soviets.
For the Soviets, okay.
Yeah, for the Soviets, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But from the defense, it's tough, but it's interesting, and then you get to get the units back too. You get to get your replacements too as time goes on. So you want to get like 1 point per. So like if you have a 2-step unit, you can recover 1 point on one turn, and the next turn when you have a replacement, you can flip it completely over and then bring it out on the field, or you just take it out halved,
Right.
And I just found it really fun to play, and I was like, this is a fun game to play solitaire. I think it'll be even more interesting to play opposed, although it's less interesting opposed, I think, for the German, because unless the German player is completely about a defensive mindset with selective counterattacks, because there's times to take a counterattack and times not to. So.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, that sounds pretty value for 15, $16, right?
Yeah, totally, totally. Well, I hope they come out with more of those because that's a steal right there. You get hour and a half gameplay every time you play it, and it's got more than one play in it. So that's
Kind of like a Decision Games folio game, but actually play.
a good one.
Yeah, is that print and play for $15?
Yeah, $16.
No. Yeah, but it's in a bag. It's a bag.
No, that's what I was saying. Is it print and play or like actual?
Yeah, it's Ziploc.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Might have to
And
get
it's only got
some.
70 counters, so you're just you can clip them real quick and get them on the table. And it's Legion, so the quality's good.
Yeah. Nice.
So what have you guys been up to?
I'm still stuck on the Fate of All. I've been getting that set up.
Are you playing?
I just
Nice.
got the first scenario set up, and I'm gonna do a review video for it, and then do a playthrough video. That way, if people just want the review, that's up, it's there.
Right.
I've covered my bases. Because usually I used to do always the review kind of mixed in through the playthrough, and I think it drug it out too much. Didn't really kind of hit what people wanted. So I'm just going to focus, 20-minute review video and then play it out.
Cool.
And so far it seemed really good. The only thing that I've kind of snuck on is the counters. They're in there a little snug, so you kind of got to cut them out, and clip them.
Yeah.
They get a little jiggy. You're
So
snapping.
janky.
Yeah.
Yeah, the die cuts are never super clean with these games, are they?
No. It could be a lot better. I don't like having to sit there with an X-Acto blade and go through the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
I can overlook that though, but I would hate to play this game if you're colorblind or if you're anywhere close to colorblind.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, all the different units. I mean, I get it because you don't want to have like pink and black, like these garish colors. So they're going for something that will look decent on the board. But when you have, 8, 9, 10 different factions?
Yeah.
And
it's confusing quick.
Yeah, you got to have the different color for all the different factions. We're talking about a shade. Just different.
And they're brown shades or greeny brown shades. It's very, very difficult to. I got a little frustrated at the start because I'm playing it right now too. Get the so it's hard to can't see it there.
Now, of course, it's
now yours is really hard to see.
Let me get it.
All these are all the different factions
Well,
and
I
all
would
the different
suggest
shades.
in that is because I was thinking about it too when I was looking at it. When I did the I was looking going, holy crap, these are really hard to distinguish which faction is which. And the first thing that popped into my head is, as they're out on the table, I'm either going to use like a bingo chip or I'm going to use a cube for that faction. I'm going to know what the colors are and I'm going to put it next to them.
Yeah, you're going to have a couple of different factions. Yeah, and you guys can see the colors there. They're very, very close.
There's not enough variance in them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so what I know we're kind of like it sucks to be talking about a game and then picking out all things you don't like. But the other thing I'm not thrilled about is some of the information on the counters is over the artwork, and it's difficult to discern it. Sometimes you've got to like do a double take and stuff, and it just takes you out of the game, right? And now you get used to it because you go, oh, that's an archer, so he's a 4A or 4 whatever. So after a while, but I spoke to Fabrizio about this a couple of times. Like, you should put an outline around the number, right? Just a white outline around the number so you can see it, or choose a different freaking color. But other than that, so have you played? Have you done any turns yet?
I haven't done like real turns with it. I've sat down and like just move some units around, and kind of trying to get the rules in the mind, because there are a few things that are in the rules and I'm like, why are you wording it this way? I forget what it is. Something to do with, I think, checking supply or something along those lines. Like if you move so many points, then you have to check, right? But it says if you move 10 movement points worth, then you have to check. And then right below that, almost verbatim, it says if you move 20 movement points worth, you have to check. And I'm like, well, why are they putting it this way? If you move the 10, you've obviously moved the 20, so why even put the 20 in there? That doesn't make sense to
Well,
me.
you got to check twice, right? So you check it 10.
Is that what that's saying? You have to check
at
it
20,
twice?
and then when you're done, there's a final supply phase.
Yeah.
And I forget if that's for everybody or I think it's for everybody. But basically, look, yeah, that's it. So, so it's funny you mention that because he's got Tony, who's English. I say, oh, Johnny, I know the Queen's English.
Very
And
awful.
you would think that Tony would have gone, hang on a second, that's not bloody right. There's some language in there that I just go,
Pretty good accent.
That is not how we say that here.
Yeah.
We don't say it in the negative. Or you don't say, you can do this not like that. Or I forget how he phrases things, but I've got to stop and go,
it's counterintuitive.
Writing English, that's not what he means. Know, it's so there's some of that in the rules. But I tell you what, once you get into the gameplay, the rhythm, because I've now done, it starts in April, May, June, July. I'm on my 4th or 5th month of the full campaign, Alexander thing. And once you get the supply rules down, you can look at the map and go, oh, that supply area supports 5. It has 5 supply factors, right? This column of units, this army only has 3. And if I've got a light cavalry with me, I know that I'm not going to get any negatives for my die roll, right? So I'm not going to have any of those 5 subtracted.
Yeah.
I only need 3. So you don't even really need to roll the dice because if you get extra, who gives a shit? Unless it's opposed.
Can't you put that as a depot though?
Who what?
Can't you make a supply depot with the extras?
You can, but you don't want to. I mean, if you're Alexander, you're hauling ass, right? So you want to make supply depots once you get through basically Turkey, is what I'm guessing. I'm thinking. I don't know. Because I haven't got far enough, right? But you split your armies up into groups of basically 30 stacking points, and that means you need 3 supply, and that gets you through Turkey pretty much all the way. And then along the way, you're going to siege places and capture a supply point and all sort of nonsense. You can't reach back and get supply, so you're really foraging the whole time.
Yeah.
And the only time it matters to roll the dice is if you're opposed, to see who loses a step of light cavalry, because you've got light cavalry screeners and you've got light cavalry raiders, right? So that whole concept of actually making ancient warfare movement sort of feel real, like, that now my light cavalry is doing its job. They're going out, finding food, fending off the bad guys. The bad guys are trying to raid you, stop you from getting food. You can scorched earth shit that come June, July.
But I like how that affects like your friendly territory. Yeah, you can scorched earth, right. But
it's super cool.
Your people are going to be pissed because you're burning their shit,
Yeah.
And look, people, y'all that are watching this or you're watching it afterwards, don't get me and Kev wrong here. We're not hating on the game. I mean, there's some things that we'd like to see changed, but I've always said that like Thin Red Line games, like they craft their games. You're getting an individualized experience here. This isn't like your Walmart of board games, right? This isn't a game system that has 10 games in the iteration and they all feel roughly the same, but they're set in different areas. You're really getting that crafted experience here, but with that, you're going to have some crap like this pop up where you're like, damn it, I wish they would have colored the counters a little different, or minor stuff. It's my time with it thus far. I would absolutely say it's worth it if you were into this era of gameplay and warfare. Now, I haven't done any of the tactical stuff. Have you poked around at that?
Yeah. So,
you posted about it the other day.
Yeah, so me and Fabrizio kind of got into it offline because it feels almost exactly like Great Battles of History, right? So I got my Great Battles of History hat on and I'm moving myself and doing things. And I sent him a picture and I go, who goes first to resolve this? And he goes, what the F are you doing? Playing rules. And you go,
Playing your game.
have you read the rules? Motherfucker, I got all pissed off and everything, and then I went back.
Details, details.
Yeah, that's why I say it's not like it's like Great Battles of History version 1 or 2 of SBQR, right? So you move everything, fire your arrows, declare your melee, resolve the melee, and then you're done. That's an activation, you're done. Then you move to the next guy. Whereas with Great Battles of History, you move everybody, you shoot everybody, and then you fight everybody. So it's simultaneous all at once. And it's not like it. And actually, once you play the battle out, it's pretty cool. It actually works a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and a lot less markers than Great Battles of History. I'm keen to actually grab some battles, some Alexandrian battles, right, from Great Battles of History, and set one of their battles up, an equivalent battle up, and play it out and see what happens, right? So yes, I have played it, and yes, it plays very, very well. And I would always, if I'm going to do a big battle, I would always do the tactical map, because you're going to get much, much better losses. Because I played the battle, and I also played it the operational way, where you just do 5 rounds of combat, or it's not 5, but you fight until someone runs away, which ends up being about 5, because I did it a couple of times. And you don't want to do that, because you end up losing units you might not normally have lost. If you actually run the battle yourself, you've got a little bit more control over what goes on.
Yeah, due to the route level. If you hit your
route level stuff, and then in the operational game, when you resolve, you get a black and red result. If it's a red result, the enemy gets to choose what you lose. So, if you're Alexander and you receive a 2 red result, and I'm the Persians, I'm gonna pick your heavy cavalry, right?
Yeah.
Every time. So you lose a step, and they're gone. They're 1 step. So you can screw, if you get lucky, you can screw Alexander and you're done, right? You may as well, I'm not saying you should restart, but you've got to go buy that cavalry again. You don't have money, hardly any money. So,
but you can gain money through the taxation, and there's something else. Was it pillaging or
plunder?
Plunder.
Dude, it's once a year. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got to run. You got to run the table early and capture as many provinces, and then collect your taxes in January, and hope that's enough to fund. And at the end of the year, you've also got to pay maintenance. Everything you bought, all your armies, you got to pay tax on all those motherfuckers. Excuse me, on all those guys. So I like the Persians in my game. They've said, you know what? I think we're done for the year, and it's July, right? They're like, we're not moving anything, we're not doing anything, we're not buying anything, because they're out of money. They're almost out of money. They're the Persians, because they've been blowing through trying to bribe people and building armies and doing things. And I was looking at it, going, I'm not sure I have enough money left at the end of the year to pay the maintenance on all these units. And the good thing is Alexander killed 2 armies, so there'll be less to pay for.
But that's what I like about the game. That's that feeling, is that you're having to make choices more along the lines of what they would do. That they're not going to fight to the last man. There does come a point where you're overextended. You don't have the money to upkeep. You don't have the food to upkeep. And you have to just kind of gear down, especially during the winter months, because the winter months are nothing but negative modifiers for trying to do anything.
Right. Trying to forage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Battles.
No, I think they've done a really good job with the game, with everything I've experienced. I'm really looking forward to getting a little more time with it. It just was one thing after another was in front of it, so I finally got a chance to sit down with it. It is a table hog, though. Like, all 4 maps are huge.
Yeah. And if you're how often are you gonna play the full campaign?
Oh well, I mean, go big or go home, dude. I mean, it's really there.
Well, you don't have to. You can play 1 or 2 maps. You don't have to play.
They do have some options. And what I like about this is the way they've got the other scenario set up. It almost works for someone like me who might have different size tables because they've got a 2 map that's horizontal and then they've got a 2 map that's vertical, right? So you can have
You guys throwing around your table privilege. You know, guys like me have more than one table. As you guys have your multiple tables, I'm stuck with my 4x6, and that's it until I retire and get into my retirement war room.
I got it, just an L back
Behind the
around.
couch over there.
Yeah, behind the couch, tucked away. I need more room. I never have enough table space as it is. I wish I had more.
Yeah.
I like Kevin's set up, all that empty room. If that was my room, it would be nothing but tables as far as I could see.
Oh, dude, I'm getting a couple more tables. Those wooden ones on the left with a little hand crank.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 metal 4x4 tables on big trundle wheels. I don't know if you can see those big wheels there. So I can mix and match those. Like I just moved the table down the other end of the room because I was putting some furniture together, and it was awesome. And then I've got that's a 6x2 table, the wooden thing that guy right there. So I just crank it up to the same level as the metal stuff, and I'm gonna get, I think, 2 more of those guys. And then
You get a sheet of plywood too, so that way you just put one sheet over all of them if you put them together for a giant game.
Yeah, I could, but then I gotta store it somewhere, and that's where
Just put it up against the wall or something, right? You don't have
a premium. Yeah, but then Mrs. gets like, why did you get with the plywood away?
Why don't you go count your shoes?
Right. What I am going to do is put some plywood on the base of these tables, so I can start books and excess games and stuff.
Yeah. All your supplies, your tweezers and dice and everything. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's just, so it's just a work in progress. It's fun. Well, that's cool. So anyway, so we went deep dive on the Fate of All, but so you sort of did unboxing and shuffled units around, read the rules and everything, and so you're gonna jump into some sort of scenario at some point.
I'm just gonna do scenario map A.
Right. So the Greeks or whatever it is, the Greek peninsula.
Yeah. Who am I setting up? That's
I think what that one is.
Yeah, the scenario 1, the 10,000 again, and it's got the Persians versus the Macedonians, and enough troops on there, and a good chunk of the additional rules, but not all of them. So the additional rules always seem to be things that I'll forget. But I like the goal of this one because it's victory conditions, capture cities. So I know, boom, boom, boom. I'm heading for these areas, trying to get them. So I've got one side that's trying to capture, other side that's trying to block them off, and that just worked for my space. I wish I had the ability and time to do a bigger one, because I think that would be an awesome thing to set up, especially the entire campaign. I just don't have the time or space to set it all up. Someone does, though. Someone should.
Convention would be the thing. I want to go back
to
when you were saying you were getting all fancy, and Brian was saying a Marine saying garish. Apparently, that got a couple people going here because Christoph said, I have Google Translate on. Never heard of garish before. So he's throwing around the big words apparently for some people. And, being that Brian wants to be the grammar police, saying garish, it's like, well, you know what? Marine is capitalized. It's a proper noun. So make sure you remember that next time.
It's better than using... I'm trying to keep it PG. Remember, we have a 4-letter word we use for everything.
True.
Well, I mean, you remember during your time in, that little 4-letter word could be used literally for any other word in the English language. We proved its versatility.
Oh yeah, you can say fucker if you want. We were leading the crew here with years ago with gender neutral phrases. We just called everybody fucker.
That's one way to go with it. I will point out I'm going to be doing something else that's digital. I actually just got a code from this. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game before. It's by Slytherin. They do the Field of Glory series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got Field of Glory, 2 Medieval, forget the others, some Civil War ones, and they've got one coming out called Field of Glory Kingdoms, which is really reminding me of the Fate of All. And it's like they have taken a board game and turned it into a digital game, but it was never a board game. It plays like a board game version of what's that? Europa Universalis. If you know which game
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
It's grand strategy. You're trying to take control of, ancient, year 1000 Europe. It's Spain, Britain, Germany, top of Africa, the whole area. But I was poking around at that the other night, and it's interesting so far. I'm gonna have to spend a little more time with it to say one way or the other whether or not I actually am really digging into it. Their tutorial didn't hit all the points that it should have, like constructing units. That would be something you would think would be in the tutorial teaching you how to play, and it's like, no, not even in there. They went deep into the diplomacy and trying to get religion or things like that, and it talked about how buildings affect the different provinces. That's great, but you didn't tell me how to build the buildings. So it almost seems like they tried to speed run through the tutorial series. I've recorded that. I'll have that up here in a couple of days, and then I'm going to play through their little scenario. If you're into grand strategy, the Europa Universalis, the Fate of All type games, this might be something. All right, it's more like a streamlined version of that. You do have the ability to export your games into the tactical level of their game, the Field of Glory Medieval. So if you're playing a battle in the grand game, evidently you can export your battle into a different game, go play it out, and then come back to the original game to see the results. I'm not sure exactly how well that would work. Supposedly they've done it. Yeah, he's talking about.
It sounds like we're on Total War or medieval Total War. So
it's much more streamlined. It is nowhere near as deep. It's like just the highlights of all that. So if you wanted something that played faster with less to worry about, you're pretty much just worrying about religion, who your leader is, and what your forces are and how much money you have. The battles aren't overly complex. It's very basic. You have a front line. Certain units like spearmen are going to go in the front line. You'll have archers in support. You'll have cavalry on the flanks. That basic stuff. And if you don't have units to fill those areas, then you're going to have negative penalties, right, during the battle. But it's all very streamlined. So if you've wanted to try a game like Europa or something along those lines, but it's been too deep for you, this might be one worth checking out. I can't say I haven't had a full huge amount of time with the game yet. So far, it seems pretty decent, but I'm going to have to poke at it a little more before I can say one way or the other. But stay tuned for that. I'll have it up in the next couple of weeks.
That's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Very nice. Now, Tony said something here before. He's going to be on the War Room.
Boo, boo hiss.
I'm going to be on the War Room this Saturday on Ruff's channel. I had heard that. Are you replacing someone on that show this weekend, or?
He's going to take and cut out that little segment of me saying boo hiss and put it on there.
Boo hiss.
I thought it was on, what's his name's channel?
Jester.
It's Jester. Yeah.
Jester. I said Jester. Yeah.
I feel bad saying this, but it's Jester, it's Ruff, and one other guy. And I, for the life of me, can't remember the other guy's name.
So you're filling in for Jester, is what I'm guessing. He's taking a hiatus or a day off. But
it's not doing a weekly show.
Yeah. Weekly is, that's a lot. It really does eat up because if you have every Saturday or any day that you set, it's tough to do that weekend.
That's
weekend.
Do they?
Yeah.
When you get a play, right? Especially don't they do 3 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that?
Yeah, they do 2+ usually, like 2 hours, I think. Yeah.
One show.
Wait, they do a show every Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, Jester's at Buckeye Game Fest.
That's too much.
So what that means is everybody go to Ruff's channel on Saturday and give them the largest crowd they've ever had.
That's so mean. Why would you do that to Jester?
I'm just busting. So I'm sure he'll flip out on me. But the new guy's Nate. That name sounds familiar.
No, they can't have a Nate. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but he's not gimpy like our Nate is.
He's not armed like our Nate is either.
Oh, jeez.
There can only be one. Highlander rules. That's how we're going with this.
There you go.
And
So
hold on, before I forget to say it, I saw a comment from Ed earlier, and I meant to respond to him. The game that you were talking about, the 2 minutes to midnight, it is a deeper version of what's it called?
Yeah, it's more gamers' version of Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle, that's it. Yeah, it's big boy version. It's daddy version. Really good components. Got a solitaire system. Looks good. You can drop nukes. All the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is good about it, like with Twilight Struggle, it's everything about it is very abstract. It's meant to be played faster and stuff, and everything's off the cards. With this, the things you can do with a single card play, you have to build to in increments to do them, which I think is kind of neat because you have to think ahead and you have to work towards it. You just don't go, hey, I've got a card, I'm going to do this, boom. Which is one of the things that people love about card games, and also it can be a detractor to it if you wanted to have something more. But it does a lot of things to be quick.
Thing is that abstract equals 0.
Well, it is. I mean, it's pretty much an area control strategy game, or Euro.
Yeah, this is all it. It's great. It's a war-themed Euro.
Yeah, historical war game, in other words.
Yeah, historical war game.
So, you're going to set everybody off.
Oh, sorry. Stop it already. Well, I'm playing games too.
That's what I was waiting to hear.
Oh, so conflict simulation.
Checkers is a conflict simulation.
Yeah, what was
I mean, technically it is.
Oh, Jeff's here. Look at Let's see. So I finished my first play of Old School Tactical's Pacific module, that little expansion called Hellbent. Played the White Island scenario. Not good for the Yanks. I got the asses handed to them. Marines were not up to the task, so that was sad. But gorgeous. Man, I've forgotten just how nice. You guys jump on it anyway. I've forgotten just how nice the components are for flying big games, and it really, we're all talking about how great the two European companies are that are bringing out new titles and doing new things and all the rest of it. And I really think that Flying Pig was probably one of the very first to kick it up a notch with the maps and large cameras and quality production. Although some snafus with bits and pieces, but generally speaking, I think they've done a really, really good job. So we shouldn't discount all the Americans necessarily. I think the U.S. companies have been handed notice though that the quality game needs to improve, and the price factor on like on the ILAO game that we picked up.
Yeah,
this is a crazy good price for what you get in the box. It's ridiculous. But
maybe companies they're putting out decent. I mean, what Lock and Load, the Bitter Harvest. I mean, the amount of stuff that you get in that box is definitely worth the price.
Yes. I think a lot of it's extraneous though, right? So there was many rules in there, and the solitaire rules were in there. There's a whole rule booklet, and there's a lot of extra stuff. Jeff, why am I in St. Louis? Because I couldn't, because I'm still banned on BGG.
Because he doesn't want to get shot.
Yeah, well, that too. I couldn't really put my down, but I couldn't respond to any of the
swanky stuff.
No, to get a game book, right? Because everyone was booking games on and go, well, stuff like that. I couldn't, all I do is like things and I have to PM somebody. So I never got games set up and I was eager to go. I actually booked my room, paid my fee, but had to cancel. I couldn't get a game locked in, so I'm not going to go out there and sit around and twirl my thumbs. So, and it ends up being here was better because moving in and other factors. So, yeah. So I was going to say, so I did, so OST, played that. I just set up back on one of those tapes back there in the corner. I've got Battles in the East Volume 2 set up for the Guderian's last Blitzkrieg battle, the battle for Tula in 41. I've got that set up, so I'm back to start that. As soon as we finish up here tonight, I just set that up this afternoon. And obviously got Beta Ball going. I've got North Africa 41. I'm on turn 14 online with my buddy Steve. With that, I'm feeling pretty punchy, pretty confident as the allies that it'll all be over in a couple of turns. He just doesn't realize it yet, so that's always fun to have your opponent not know it's over. So let's see, what was that? I'm doing, I don't know if anybody knows, but with this Substack thing, I've been playing 3 RPGs, Walking Dead, and Twilight 2000, which are from Free League, which are really, I think they're both from Free League. Yeah, and then also a game called War Stories, which I think is from Firelock Games, and they're all the Year Zero engine. And man, it's fun. I set up a couple of scenarios and I'm just running through it and writing notes and stuff, and then using that to write some narrative and post it on my Substack. So if you're into a 2,000 word brief description of a battle, check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's cool. And how was The Walking Dead? I was surprised that you got that because I was like, I didn't think you were a zombie guy.
I'm not really a zombie guy, but I don't know, I got some email from them saying, hey, if you want to get on the site and pick a game, we'll send you the core book. And it was the only one that really didn't have like 50 expansions that I would get sucked into.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it, and it's the simplest and most flexible of all the games. But I think it's really aimed at the audience, right? At the viewer audience, is not that super detailed technical stuff like in Twilight 2000 or even War Stories gets a little out of hand. So it's ranged fire and melee, and roll a handful of dice and see what happens, right? So it's all pretty straightforward.
And it's easy to play that solo.
I'm just writing stories about it. So whatever happens. Okay, the guy dies, he dies. Okay, just make another character. That's done.
Well, yeah. I mean, are you playing a solitary character? Or a solo character? You have NPCs too.
Solo character, a couple of NPCs on the side. I've really just done one. This one character, Kay, ran an ambush to capture some supplies. He has some mental issues. His little sister and his family all seem to be resident in his head. So something bad must have happened there. So we're having fun with that sort of thematic nonsense. So he's going a little crazy with his head while he's taking out bugs and stealing trucks. Yeah.
Well, at least he's not keeping heads in aquariums.
Not yet. No.
Did you watch the Walking Dead series?
I watched like one episode.
Oh, you never watched? Okay. Because I got up to when Negan showed up, and I forget where I left off. It started getting, like Rick left. It kind of, I was like, but it was just the thing that annoyed me and really kind of turned me off of the show, where I think they jumped the shark for me, was when they had the big lead up, and everybody who's read the books, the graphic novels, knows where I'm going with this. The big reveal of Negan, which leads to Glenn's death.
What is it? He's gay?
No. This Negan character that they've been hearing about.
I know who Negan is. I've seen all the shorts on YouTube, but I haven't kept track of the show.
Yeah, and he kills Glenn in a very graphic way in the book.
Glenn's the Asian fellow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did a very good job of doing it in the series, except they screwed up because they had this build up for the season finale. And then Negan, he ends up breaking out Lucille, which is his barbed wire covered bat. And he goes and he swings and he beats the cameraman to death. And you don't know who he kills until they come back. And the season premiere the next year is when they show you the whole thing in more detail. And then you see the killing, which is actually 2 killings. And it was very graphic, which I was fine with because it fit the story. But I was annoyed that I was like, you had this build up and then you lost the momentum. You totally jumped the shark at that point. Because it would have been the perfect finale. It would have been the most talked about season finale, I think, in TV history.
You mean series?
Season finale, not series finale. Season finale would have been one of the most, if not the most talked about season finale in TV history if they had done everything that they did in the premiere, if they showed that part with the killing in the finale. Because that's what they were building to all season. And then the last episode, they had this stupid, drawn-out thing where they were whistling all the time, and it was kind of building an eerie sense of dread, which was good, but they took it too far and they didn't give it payoff. When they did that, I was like, hey, I'm going to stick around because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan and I love the Negan character. But even that started wearing thin for me after a while. The writing was, let's see how much blood we can squeeze out of this stone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I heard the first 2 seasons were good, and then after that it went downhill. It started repeating themes and repeating stories, and
well, there's some really great storylines in it, and there's some very like, holy crap, what just happened scenes. You know, I mean, there's a lot of excellent scenes in it, but that last season, you know, with the Negan thing, they actually did a fake death on Glenn earlier season that pissed a lot of people off, and then when they did the finale of that season, I was just like, you're really trying my patience. And I'm generally a patient guy, especially if you stick to the source in a lot of ways, and they did in many ways. But I don't know. I just lost interest in it. It went on for like 10 seasons. They had a couple spin-offs and stuff. But
right.
I just was like, yeah, I'm done. You wore out your welcome with me.
Well, before I forget to mention it, if you like games like that, if you're into sci-fi, Kev, 5 parsecs from home, similar to the Twilight 2000 that you were talking about, and
cool.
Same with another zombie one, Last Day Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, nice.
So if you like the Walking Dead, that's another one worth checking out.
Well, that's cool, dude. I'll check them out. That's awesome.
Are those miniature based or?
Yeah, they can be. Especially, actually, both of these are miniature based. Now that I think about it, you can use minis from anything. They don't have anything that's like directly tied to them. So you.
But I mean, like you're counting out inches and stuff, or is it just like an RPG where you're using a grid or whatever to move?
No, this would be, yeah. Now that I think about it, this might not be Kevin's cup of thing, because you are like actually going to play the battle out. You're not just going to roll dice. I mean, you roll dice, but you move and shoot and lines of sight and all that other stuff. I've got the minis to have all this stuff, terrain. Yeah, see, 5 parsecs is real good. I've actually got a storyline I'm planning when I finally get some time, that I'm going to take all my robot characters from Core Space and I'm going to create their own little story using 5 parsecs and have just a purely robot crew going out and just doing whatever missions pop up. Plus, that way, if one of them dies, if I don't want them to die, they're a robot. You can just pull the memory chip. Just keep going.
Love it.
Well, you don't even have to pull the memory chip. Just upload to the cloud.
No, we're not. We're going Star Wars rules, probably.
Oh, okay.
So
you're gonna have to recover the data from the droid.
Otherwise, that takes the gamey aspects out of it. You got to recover something. Take the head or something along those lines.
Speaking of robots and stuff, what I really want to see is somebody come out with a really good version of Galaxy's Edge rules.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Galaxy's Edge.
With Savage Marines.
Yeah, they put some BS thing. They put something together. They got that RPG thing, but it's not
Yeah, it was.
That's Forgotten Ruin, isn't it? I can't remember.
Is it Forgotten Ruin? I thought it was GE,
Maybe
but they
it's
did like some kind of weaker, simple miniatures rules that they used. Like they kind of took another system and kind of worked it into this,
All I can think of,
which you can do. But I would love to see a GE board war game.
you're
Like
saying
real
Galaxy's
board game.
Edge, and I just keep thinking of that lame ass hotel from Disney.
No, this is Galaxy's Edge, which Cam introduced me to. It's Star Wars for adults. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with season 2 now, so it's fantastic.
So it is Star Wars. It's just got like naked Twi'leks in it or something.
It's
twirly.
It's like a Star Wars environment, but you're also dealing with a lot of dirty politics, a lot of dirty people, and then you have the good people as well that are fighting, and then there's a Force equivalent component in it too.
It's like one kind of Jedi guy. That's it.
Yeah.
He's more like a Sith Lord than anything.
Well, there's more than that.
Well,
there's the one.
Yeah,
he don't last as long as I thought he would.
yeah.
I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah. I just loved it at the end when Cal, I think it was Cal, or no, it wasn't Cal. Maybe it was Cal. I can't remember who it was. Get bold.
No, that was what's his face? Keel. Yeah.
Keel. That's right.
Yeah, and because when you think about it, in two of the most iconic characters in that, it just happens so fast, and you're like, whoa, that's not supposed to happen. No, go back and do that again. Make it 10-page, finale here.
The good thing is that there's a lot of backstory stuff coming out for one of the other characters, which is awesome because he's just such a badass.
Which one?
Tars.
Oh, okay, yeah, they have to keep on going.
So epic. He's just classic. Anyway, we're drifting off into stuff that no one knows about because it's a small audience.
Yes, but if you are looking for a great sci-fi series, check out Galaxy's Edge. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Is that a book series or?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I
listened to them on Audible.
Okay. Because I'd never heard of that. The only Galaxy's Edge I'd heard about was that lame ass hotel that bombed.
Right. They're moving it all over to something called Wargate Operator. Yeah, Wargate or Wargate.com or Wargate Operator.
Yeah.
I think they're getting pressure from Star Wars franchise to drop the name. So I'm not sure how they'll do that, but
see
those guys.
That's the ridiculous stuff, is that people who have some of this third party items that generate a whole lot of interest, all they are doing is selling your products for you, and they're not charging you for all the free advertising you're getting. Now, yes, in some cases they might make a little bit of money, but the amount of return that they're going to get you is going to far outweigh whatever that they're making or whatever cut.
I don't think they're helping Star Wars. If anything, they're making people going, this is what Star Wars could have been.
Yeah.
It's keeping people
screwed up.
Yeah, it's like having Rangers and Navy SEALs in Star Wars uniforms kicking ass and taking names. It is fundamentally epic and really good detailed tactical stuff, and a great storyline, great character development. The first book is probably one of the weakest books, but I think 2, 3, and 4 kind of really kick up a notch from there. It's good.
Well, see,
yeah, I mean, you have the first one. It's just a standard battle book, and then it builds up from there, which is it's fine, but it's a good intro to the series.
Yeah, it was very clearly Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
But they should let them publish that shit. It's like when Games Workshop with Warhammer came out and put everything behind a paywall. That's what really pissed people off, is that they took all these YouTubers or people who had written stories or lore or all this other crap and said they had to take down everything that they worked on for years. Like GW never cared for years when they were generating all this interest in their product. And then suddenly they decided, no, you can only do it if you do it behind our paywall so we can make money off of your work. And some people they brought on and hired and actually paid them a little something, but the majority just had all their work stolen and taken from them. And the fans hated it, right? They lost all the goodwill that
But the
had
fans
been
continue
generated.
to buy their product and support them for doing this.
Not now, not anymore.
Really?
Yeah, remember I was mentioning that to you earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, Games Workshop is not hurting in any way, shape, or form.
And they're not doing
There's
as
some
well.
controversy, but I mean, people are not saying, "Hey, you just screwed a bunch of content creators over, and you're killing all the content. You're moving everything behind a paywall. Screw you. We're not going to support you anymore." Being you went with a heavy-handed thing.
They lost some stock points during that period of time, but they bounced back, and now they're going through the cancellations because everyone, all the people who had Warhammer Plus accounts, started canceling them over the whole Henry Cavill thing that I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah.
So now their subscription model has plummeted, so they're losing a lot of fans over that. I hope that it hurts them bad enough that they change their stance, but I doubt it will. Seems like,
well, that's the thing. It's all up to the consumer. The consumer has to remember, you hold the wallet. You have the power of the wallet, and it doesn't matter who the company is. If they want to screw with your IP or your game or whatever it is that you like, and you're not happy with it, well, just withhold your dollars and go someplace else.
But how far are we away from having that really hit the war game hobby? I can't be the only one. I have had videos that have gotten flagged simply for the name of the game alone, right? What Hitler's Reich or some bullshit like that. Like, it's the name of a board game, right? And they'll demonetize it right off the bat. And I have to go and put in an appeal to get them to look at it, to take the strike off.
Well, that's the they'll blame the AI because AI is the crutch of everybody nowadays, or the algorithm, because they'll set it to look for certain things, and they set for certain things that are against their viewpoints, but then they ignore others, and it's like, what, just leave things the way they are and let the viewers sort out what they want to see, just as long as it's not something illegal. I mean, you don't want to have a snuff film on there, but you don't want to have blocking out things that are a historical documentary on Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot or whoever, because those things need to be out there for people to get educated.
Yeah, they're so worried about curating what's on their platform, and that's my biggest gripe with them. It's like, look, you can either have a platform or you can be a publisher. But if you're going to curate the content that is on, and it doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is, the moment you start curating, you are no longer a platform. You're no longer an open platform. You are now a publisher, and you fall under different legal rules, which means you can be held for things like liable. Right? That's the biggest reason they want to be considered an open platform. Well, if you're an open platform, it has to be open to everyone. So anybody can post anything they want, even if you disagree with it, as long as it's not, child.
That ain't the case anymore.
Come on, they're protecting feelings. There are a lot of sensitive people out there who have been physically harmed, no less, physically harmed by words. So I think that you're just being a little judgmental. You need to calm down.
Amazon wanted female Space Marines in Cal's Eyes and Orange series. GW refused. They compromised with female custodes. Cal's threatened to walk off the whole series. He should.
That's
they did the same thing with Witcher, and now they're doing it. It's like, stop letting political ideologies or narratives or whatever get into the IP of a story. These are established stories. When you screw with established stories, you're going to piss off the fan base. You piss off the fan base, you have invested a ton of money, and it's going to blow up in your face because people are not going to watch your stuff.
See, this is what I was trying to get you to understand earlier. Like, this is decades old lore. This is not stuff that is recent models or recent books or anything like that. Sure. This is stuff that's been.
It doesn't matter even if it is set, right? I mean, if you just respect the series, and if you're going to do something different, if you're going to change things, then say, hey, it's not really whatever this series, what's it called? What's the series called? Warhammer. It's not really Warhammer, but it's something else. But it's just like Warhammer, but we're doing our own thing instead of trying to sucker all
Laura Ballbean.
Instead of trying to sucker everybody into, it's Warhammer, but we're making it inclusive.
Yeah. And they already have a really cool thing you were explaining before with female characters, which would be just as compelling.
That's what I told you. The problem is that Cavill was going to be playing a character named Eisenhorn. He's a famous character in the series. I've read his book. I've actually got it sitting right over there. And their issue, Amazon's issue, is they wanted a female character that was more powerful than Cavill's character. But Cavill's character, Eisenhorn, is a famous space marine, which means he's very powerful. And the only ones who could realistically in that series be more powerful would be a Custode. And the Custodes are the Emperor's Chosen, but they're only men. So that's when they just were like, nope, there were women. There's always been women. We're just retconning it and saying that because Amazon wanted to have a chick in the show.
Amazon should have learned from Lord of the Rings.
Smack him around.
Stop screwing with the original stuff. Leave it
Just
to
to show you
the
how arrogant they are, right?
Yes. You know, it's like you invested a pretty sum into getting the rights to these things and you want to make money on it. You know what? Invest the money and just use the existing lore. Yeah, of course, there's going to be some alterations for time or whatever, but people will be fine with that. Just use the existing lore and print money. It's like Star Wars. You had all that stuff right there. Use the existing lore and print money.
Hold on. Am I remembering this wrong? Ed, Eisenhorn, I remember the trilogy. I read it. Maybe I might be remembering it wrong. The character Henry Cavill was going to play, I could have swore it was an Inquisitor. I thought Eisenhorn was a Space Marine. He's the one where they first had the battle over Isthorn or whatever, where Horus goes bad and then he survives, and then he tries to make it back to the Imperium and is on Mars. He's trying to let them know what's going on. And he's a Space Marine, right? Oh, I'm not thinking of Gaunt. His name is Nathaniel Eisenhorn, right? I could have swore that's his name. And that's when they encounter the warp for the first time. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get this all distracted, but
You'll have to read it.
I have to read the book.
The series.
Yeah, to retcon this show at this point.
Because they're saying more than one person saying he's an Inquisitor, not an Astartes. Inquisitors are different. They, long story short, they help fight the chaos, the demons.
You get us off on this tangent and you're not even getting it right. Damn it.
I know. No, I'm not thinking of Gaunt. I love Gaunt's though. Gaunt's Ghost, the founding and the whole thing. Man, they're awesome. Love that.
Who is Gaunt's Ghost?
Gaunt is the first, the Tanith, first and only.
I was making a joke like, who is John Gaunt? Who is Gaunt's Ghost?
Normally they'll take and raid a planet for millions upon millions of soldiers, but this planet got attacked and they only got out with one regiment or detachment, whatever it was. So there's only one group of these guys survived. Their home planet got destroyed. So they're the Tanith first.
War game for this. And don't even go into the Warhammer model thing. That's just a bucket of dice, system. I'm talking about a war game.
They do.
Sounds like they've got a lot of lore. How come they don't have a board war game for this?
They do. There's one. It was made by Devil Pig Games.
That's probably why I never heard of it, because they screwed up, didn't they? That's the one that blew themselves up.
It's based on their Heroes of Normandy series.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So they're saying the cartoony look, the way everything looks, they've got a war game, same way, counters.
Yeah, it's Space Solitaire game. I do that, but I mean, I'm talking like a board war game. Like the one thing I always want to see from BattleTech was to do something like that. The closest they got to that was the Succession Wars board game. That was like a grand strategic, but yeah, it was grand strategic because you're dealing with the inner sphere. But I would like to see something more operational and even tactical using counters, not just miniatures.
This uses counters. It's Heroes of something, I can't remember. Heroes of Battle Reach or something along those lines. It's Devil Pig made the game. There's the game and then a handful of expansions for it. It did well. Personally, I thought it should have done better with the IP that it was on.
Yeah. I mean, because that may actually draw in wargamers to check it out. And then the wargamers, if they like the game, would be drawn into reading the books and possibly even playing the miniatures game if they wanted to.
Well, as you can tell, I've read the books, although I feel bad now that I realize I've effed up Eisenhorn pretty bad. because that's a famous character. I should not be messing up Eisenhorn, so I'm gonna have to go reread that one. I'm gonna call that off to a brain injury.
He had a zombie series?
Don't know that
I
one.
didn't know he did.
Well, did he?
Who is Nick Cole?
He's the
Galaxy's
author,
Edge.
one of the authors of Galaxy's Edge and Strange Company. Strange Company is not a great book he wrote. And he wrote, well, he's got a bunch of stuff, but yeah, he did do a
Those
zombie
guys are
book.
machines.
Yeah.
Him Jason
That's
Osborne.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
The Dark Knight? Is that it? Zombie survival infection? No, that's James S. Cole. Yeah, The Dark Knight. That's what's popular.
Heroes of the Black Reach.
Yeah, Heroes of Blackreach. That's it. Yeah, that is a war game. It's actual counters, lines of sight, the whole nine, which you would expect from a traditional war game. Square grid instead of X's.
I'm looking at it now. So yeah,
it's just like Heroes of Normandy. If you played the Heroes of Normandy,
I never played Heroes of Normandy.
So I sent Nick Cole, I DM'd him on Twitter and sent him a link to The Long Road.
Nice.
And showed him that. And I had written a little, you know how I wrote those little stories I was talking about earlier? So I wrote a story about the game we played, actually.
Nice.
And I shared that with him. He goes, dude, A, that was epic. And B, why the fuck don't I own this game? And then he shared it with all his buddies. And so hopefully they bought it.
You know what we should do is we should invite him on for Friday Night Fights and we should play that game with him. That would be cool as hell.
Yeah, that would be
Whiskey and War Games with Nick Cole.
Nick Cole. Because he plays every Friday night. They play some
They're on Twitch or something.
RPG thing on Twitch or something.
Yeah.
I think
Let's see if we can snag him into a game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe I can reach out to him. We'll see. Anyway.
And
Cool.
Ed, I actually I've got a review up on that. The Battle Sector. I just reviewed their newest expansion, the Tau expansion.
Nice.
Which
Any good?
it's good. They need longer range because the Tau are known for having long range, high powered weaponry, and they did not include the Kroot for whatever reason. The Tau have like mechanized battle suits. They're these little weak-bodied creatures, but they advance scientifically very rapidly, so they have high-powered battle suits. They're like Japanese space ninja bullshit, and they have
the
these.
reason why you need to read Galaxy's Edge and the Legionnaires.
It sounds like something I would be interested in.
Oh, you would totally dig it.
You would eat it up.
Yeah. I mean, the two best characters. Well, I can't even say this two best because there's so many great characters in that. But you got Rex and you got Wraith, and then of course you have Masters.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Masters.
Yeah. And Caltona.
Although I'm not going to say anything about Masters.
But what I don't get is you're saying that they released these series, but they did it without or whoever's approval at the time, Disney or whoever owns.
It's not Star Wars.
It's not affiliated with Star Wars.
It's
Star Wars adjacent.
No, it's exactly Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the same story.
Same story. The guys in the white uniforms got really crappy armor and all the rest of it, except they're warriors and they kick ass, right? So, and the only reason they have bad armor is because they were given it by the government to reduce the quality of the army, because they treat the army like it's porn to go subdue economically and violently planets to do their bidding, right? So anyway, there's this whole, it's a long, complicated story, and then it goes off in branches, and like there's 32 books or something if you read it.
There's a bunch.
What's it called again?
Yeah.
The
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. All right, I have to type
Galaxy's Edge.us. I think.
No, Flying Pig is actually a very good, great war game publisher. Devil Pig is Dead. Order and receiver shit. Kind of the same thing. Pig's Armor is another good one. But this is actual, yes, and they do have audiobooks. That's how I consume them, is through audiobooks instead of just reading, because I'm generally reading other stuff and I listen to these on my commute. And it's just The narration is fantastic. R.C. Bray does the narration, and he really does. You get drawn into the story by the. You can tell who's talking when he gives different characters their own voice, and I think that's really cool. So it's well worth it whether you read or you listen.
It wouldn't let me
Hold on.
post the link.
Time out. Let me say this so
Yeah.
Christopher doesn't mess this up. No, Devil Pig is not Flying Pig. I understand that can get confusing, but Flying Pig games is different from Devil Pig. Flying Pig did The Long Road and the old school tactical game series. Devil Pig is known for the Heroes of Normandy series primarily. They're the ones that just went down in a ball of flames because their previous owner screwed everybody and ran a false Kickstarter to steal a bunch of people's money. They are trying to come back, and I actually talked to one of the former owners of Devil Pig, and I gave him an open invitation. Like, we were going back and forth because, you know, I was upset about the situation, and he was, rightfully so. And I told him, like, look, platform's open. If you ever want to come on and just say your piece, what happened, and the fact that you guys didn't do it, that this guy did it, or whatever.
Do that.
Like, it's open. You can say whatever. I won't attack you. I won't try to gotcha you or anything. You can just say your version of events. It's open. I'm waiting to hear back from him. He said he would take me up on it, but that was a couple months ago, so I doubt it's going to happen. I was hoping he might actually do it so I could get the full scoop on it, but no. Devil Pig, very much different from Flying Pig. Flying Pig is good. You can trust any of their stuff. Devil Pig does have some good games. Heroes of Black Reach is worth getting. The Heroes of Normandy series is good, but what is out there now is what's going to be out there. There will be no new Devil Pig games along those lines, sadly.
So now that we devolved into sci-fi for a while, and you totally have to retcon the episode.
Hey, it's about war games, and
Yeah.
Warhammer is a war game.
But we did at least get, some really good information out there for people about new books that they may not be aware of.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see it sometime in the future. It'd be great. Maybe, like I said, seriously, we should talk to Nick and see if we can get him on to play Long Road. And then we can hammer him and say, dude, you need to get a war game done for GE. You can do
Mark could make a game for him.
Operational and tactical.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Heroes of the Edge.
Heroes of the Edge. Yeah, exactly.
But are they under cease and desist? Or are they allowed to do that? I thought you said
No, they do. They want their own entity.
It's not Star Wars, but it is, right?
No,
all the characters are different. There are no Wookiees.
Yeah. You can see the parallels to how they're similar, but this is like I said before. And don't get me wrong, I loved the original Star Wars. The Disney mess is no. But the original Star Wars is fantastic. I will give one exception to the Disney stuff. Rogue One was fantastic. Other than that, Mandalorian was good for the 2 seasons. I didn't see the 3rd, but that was it. As far as the other stuff, it's just garbage. For me, I don't like it. Galaxy's Edge is the grown-up version of what Star Wars, what you want it to be when you're an adult. You see all the things they're talking about in society, politics, the military, everything. It's all in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, we've got Heroes of Stalingrad. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all Heroes of Normandy, but it's just Heroes of Normandy is the first game. That's just,
Yeah.
And there's Mo.
I have not seen Andor. But like I said, we'll talk to Nick and say, hey, dude, you can, like, Tales from the Legion or Tales of the Legion or something like that. You can do a whole tactical line on that alone. And obviously, miniatures would be neat. But now you can do it with counters, hex and counter. Just do regular tacticals.
right? You know that first cool minis.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants minis.
54, 64, whatever they are, millimeter ones as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to need a lot more space than you need a 4x6 table at that point. Or at least a 3x3. 2x2 probably get away with for some of those engagements, but do a whole hex encounter, and it would be even cool, like to have the Black Fleet and all that stuff brought in. That would be
Showing
kind
them your
of
tongue?
and then you can have planetary raids, different fights on the different planets that you're
Yeah,
on.
because it's a whole like kind of. Imagine doing the Savage Wars,
The
right?
whole cover. Yeah, that would be great.
It's so cool, little space hulks.
Hell yeah. That would be really awesome. And then you can do, and the other thing too, Nate, which is very different in Star Wars, there are very distinct species in this that at first you're gonna go, what the hell? What kind of, they sound stupid, and they're not. They're awesome. The different characters, the different factions that are in it, and
the donkeys, right?
the donks. Yeah, you got the donks, the G. You got
The donkeys?
They're donkey style humanoids. Yeah, the Kublaran, the Koobs.
Say that
They're
again.
basically the Kublaran.
No.
The Koobs. They're basically giant toads,
Kev got it.
but humanoid.
Kev knew what I was saying.
Weird, but it works really well.
Big die.
Big die, big die.
Are you waving at Mo?
Hey, sweetheart, how are you?
Yeah, say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say, Mommy lost me evidently, because Mommy's supposed to be keeping me quiet.
Say bye.
No, they're not saying bye yet. We're going to put you on mute. Yes, we are.
Okay, so then Spirit saying Nick Cole's zombie series began with the Red Game. And John Longshore said, "You're not selling me." Well, that's your wife's job to sell you, not mine. I don't have ownership of you, so you'll have to talk to her.
Say hi. Say
Yeah, it's probably not a story.
hi.
No, it's probably not. Yeah, but if, like I said, if you're interested in something like that, definitely check it out. It's well worth your time. But we're gonna wrap it up here for the April show. We'll come back in May. We'll have maybe a guest, maybe not. We'll see, but we'll have hopefully a more coherent schedule because now hockey season's over for me. So now I get my weekends back finally, which is a nice change. So we're not going to have as many issues with scheduling on my part. So that's cool. But any last things for you guys? Nate, start with you.
Well, like I said, I've got the Fate of All that's getting ready to come. I have one that is going to be a prototype preview that is getting ready to hit Kickstarter this summer, and it is Aces in Armor. Yeah, Aces in Armor, because Aaron Armor is the Compass game.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so it's Aces in Armor. It's the sequel to Trench Warfare. Oh, okay. Now I'm brain for it now. It's by PKB Games. They've got a Kickstarter releasing soon. Cool game. It's got minis, tanks, planes, hex grid. Similar to Company of Heroes, if you saw that played previously. Looks really good. I'm going to have a small preview of that upcoming besides the Fate of All. And obviously going to be covering Burning Banners and some other stuff depending on what I get done. And the digital one, the Field of Glory Kingdoms. So that's what's coming for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I think I told everybody everything. It's kind of a long list, so just stay tuned. Stuff's coming. It's all good.
Nice. And I'm going to try to get back in the swing of things. I'm actually trying to finish up on Learn to Play right now. I'm almost about halfway through that one. Then we're going to start recording for The Last Gamble and then Aaron Armor. So I'll be really busy with those for a while. So that's going to be good for everybody when they get those games in the next few months.
When's Aaron Armor hitting?
July.
So July is when it ships, or when it?
July is when Aaron Armor will ship. According to what Bill said in the last show, he said July.
All right, and that's the next one they've got coming out.
No, next one is I think it's. Let me see. I think it might be. Is it the Paper Wars or let me see? Shipstroker. That's it. Shipstroker is the next one. And then Paper Wars, then Last Gamble, then Flanks of Gettysburg, Aaron Armor. So that's the release schedule.
I'm excited about that. I'm ready. I'll be looking forward to watching your show.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a lot of people are going to really be wanting to dig into that one because that one's going to be pretty meaty and it'll be a lot of fun. I think same with Aaron Armor. It'll be pretty meaty and That'd be pretty fun. No.
Did you guys
his
get,
hockey season ended yesterday too?
Did you guys get Bismarck, the last battle?
I did not. No.
I can't remember if I ordered it or if they sent it to me. So I had no idea if it was a review copy. So I just was like, it might be. I couldn't remember if I'd actually ordered that game or not. It was interesting.
Well,
I mean, it was
you can look at
decent.
your account and it'll tell you if you ordered it.
Yeah.
That it would, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But
And,
yeah, I just covered that.
doing unboxing of Red Stripe. Nice. But yeah, I got that, and then I'm gonna try to get some. I'm gonna try to get more games played because I got rifles in the nom that I want to sit down and play around with. I still have to break out and punch Fate of All because I was like, I'm not even gonna try that with my schedule. I wasn't gonna try loading it up, but I just didn't have the time for it. And I mean, because even cutting the counters out and clipping it is going to be a little time consuming, as Gimpy was talking about. So that'd be fun, and maybe we'll get to talk about that a little bit more next month, and see how everybody where their experiences are with that game at that point. And then, did you ever say anything to Fabrizio about clarifications on the rules issues that you had with the writing style?
I mentioned him a couple times, but
Yeah.
it's just his English and European style wording.
Yeah,
it kind of is what it is. All the other ones are the same.
They are.
He's going to change. It's a matter of me adapting. Because I'm just used to wording a certain way, and it's kind of like, okay.
No, I know what you mean. There's that negative that's used in there sometimes, like the way it's worded. It's almost like a negative or a double negative. Yeah, like you can't not do this unless blah blah blah. And it's not, hey, you can do this under these circumstances, like the way that we.
Boy, speak of the devil, and look at who shows up.
Fabrizio, we're just talking all this junk about you. Good timing.
So we're just talking about the rules and how the style of European writing is different than American writing. So,
but we give you glowing marks on your game early on, so don't be upset.
Yes.
Actually,
Charles going to be playing Atlantic Sentinels and Worthington's Gettysburg. Atlantic Sentinels looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Fabrizio, you should be happy. The first 15 minutes of the show were all about the fate of all. So, thumbs up.
Yeah, Last Gamble and Aaron Armour. There's going to be multiple videos for Last Gamble, but they're going to be full length. Learn to place. Aaron Armour is going to be shorter videos, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of them. So. Right. But anyway, that's it for this month's show, and we appreciate you guys joining us tonight and chatting in or adding in your 2 cents in the chat, and we will see you guys next month on the next Whiskey Charlie, and stay tuned. We may even have Friday night fights here in the next couple weeks. Have a good night, everybody.